Is it the pleasure of the House that the amendment carry? No. All those in favour of the motion will please say aye. Aye. All those opposed to the motion will please say nay. Nay. In my opinion, the nays have it. A recorded vote being required, it will be deferred until the next instance of deferred votes. Orders of the day.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Government Order Number 1.
Government Order Number 1, resuming the debate adjourned earlier today on the motion for an address in reply to the speech of Her Honour the Lieutenant Governor at the opening of the session.
Further debate? The member from Windsor-Tecumseh.
Thank you, Speaker. I'm proud to rise today in this great place among my distinguished colleagues in this House. First, Speaker, I wish you sincere congratulations on your own re-election in this past campaign. And I grew up learning quite a bit about you on CHCH television when I could tune it in on my rabbit ears. So it's truly an honour and privilege to have the opportunity to serve side by side with you and all 124 members of this House who represent their communities. I want to begin by taking this moment to wholeheartedly thank the voters of Windsor-Tecumseh. I'm grateful to each person who gave me this privilege to serve them. The community told me that this is the government that, when it mattered, supported our community. The delivery of real, tangible results from this government stood out for my constituents. Les actions de ce gouvernement sont transformatrices.
The actions of the government are important for my community. It's a government that allowed the advancement of hospital operations. Thanks to this government, we are finally widening our roadway to 4 lanes. This project has been going on since 2011. This government invested hundreds of thousands of dollars to help building updated technology that will help us build electric vehicles. We are innovating. We want to provide Stellantis with the tools.
I'm just wondering if the members on the opposition might be able to come to order so that we could hear the member's maiden speech.
To let it go, but I would ask that the House just please keep it down a little bit. We have someone speaking. Thank you. The member from Windsor-Tecumseh can continue.
Thank you.
The actions of our government stimulate hopes and optimism in our community. This is the first time ever.
I would not be here without those who put their heart and soul into helping me, and many are in the gallery today. My loving wife, Mary, with her heart of gold, put everything aside to support me in the election and beyond. And I hope that Mary forgives me for complicating our wedding plans with an election campaign. My mother, Mary Jo, who as a retired Catholic elementary teacher, put herself well outside of her comfort zone as a PC canvasser, but has been so supportive of me and a continued champion for me for my whole life. My campaign manager and executive assistant, Paul Sinnott, who after 20 years of working hard to help the people he believes in, truly earned a significant win that is reflective of the impact that he brings to a campaign. And I wish a warm welcome to my constituency assistant, Rachel Haddad, here in the gallery, who's worked with sincere passion and has delivered tremendous results for the betterment of our community since she joined our office. To all my loyal and hardworking campaign volunteers, I can't thank you enough. Your support and your devotion, especially for something that wasn't a sure thing, will never be forgotten. My journey here really began with Scouts Canada as a member of the 35th Tecumseh Scout Group. I joined Scouting 35 years ago. Today, I proudly serve as the group commissioner. Scouting is where I learned the importance of citizenship, of values, and of ethics. Our Scout law is a reliable guide every single day to be helpful and trustworthy, kind and cheerful, considerate and clean, and wise in the use of all resources. Scouting is also where I learned the importance of teamwork, to pitch in and to share the load, whether it is chairing the jamboree or cleaning the kaiba. Every task is an essential one, and there's often unpleasant work to be done, but the values I've learned from Scouting have never let me down. Speaker, I also come to the House armed with a significant career in government, working both as a member of the civil service and as an elected official in my own right. For almost 20 years, I've been a civil engineer employed by the City of Windsor. The City of Windsor is home to 3/4 of my constituents. It is a city built on grit, of standing up for yourself, for what is right and for what is just. It is a city that reflects resilience and a populace that comes together in times of need. Windsor's history is tailor-made for a movie script, from rum running to railroads, from a strong Indigenous and colonial history to industrial progress. Windsor is one of a kind. It's been a privilege to serve the residents of Windsor every day of my professional career and to work to improve our neighbourhoods and their services. And I thank Mayor Drew Dilkins for his support, and as my employer, that he granted, and the city granted me a leave to have the opportunity to serve here in the Ontario Legislature. One highlight of working in Windsor was my time spent with former Mayor Eddie Francis. He was an incredible salesperson for the City of Windsor. I worked with Mayor Francis for 2.5 years on economic development files for the betterment of our community. He showed me exactly why the work that we do here on a policy basis is meaningful and rewarding. My experience being a civil servant enticed me to apply my skills in new ways. The Municipal Council of the town of Tecumseh, led by Mayor Gary McNamara, took a chance on me by appointing me to the Committee of Adjustment, the Essex County Library Board, and the Property Standards Committee, and I'm grateful for the 8 years that I served with those citizen appointments. By 2014, and armed with my experience working with Mayor Francis, I ran for Municipal Council, knowing I could offer the best possible understanding of how government works and how to achieve results, how to apply the problem-solving skills I developed as a civil engineer. And despite having no profile to speak of whatsoever, the residents of my ward elected me in 2014, and 4 years later in 2018 returned me to council by acclamation. I remain incredibly grateful that most of the residents of Tecumseh chose to continue to support me for a third time in the recent provincial election. And I would equally like to thank my colleagues from the Town of Tecumseh Council, led by Mayor McNamara, who unanimously supported my candidacy for this election across party lines. I'd like to make a special thanks to Councillor Brian Houston, who gave me hundreds of hours of help in this campaign and delivered in spades as my Get Out the Vote chair, and a sincere congratulations on his own acclamation for a third term to Tecumseh Council. Professional Engineers Ontario has noted that I am the only professional engineer to be elected serving in this House in the 43rd Ontario Legislature. My actions here must reflect the highest level of ethics and of a duty to the public. I pledge to make my fellow engineers proud of the service that I deliver in this legislature. Now, being from Windsor-Tecumseh means that many generations of my family work in or have worked in the auto industry. And this brings forward a set of rivalries that might not be as pronounced elsewhere in Ontario. Speaker, I will let you be the judge as to whether my mom's Plymouth Horizon or my dad's Oldsmobile Cutlass Sierra was the better vehicle. But my family, like so many others in Windsor-Tecumseh, is ingrained in the auto industry. On my father's side was Newham Chev Olds in Chatham-Kent, Leamington, and Merlin, Ontario. On my mother's side were countless relatives working at the Windsor Assembly Plant. So when Family Christmas was hosted every year in Riverside, it just would not be right to stoke the fires of the Chrysler versus GM versus Ford debate. And usually those debates were initiated by my father, and I don't quite take after him in that sense, but he sure made things fun. But in Windsor-Tecumseh, the auto industry is who we are. It is our pride. I'm proud of my brother Jim, who continues this legacy as a mold maker, skilled in what he does in supporting the development of vehicle parts in one of Oldcastle's world-class advanced manufacturing companies, Crest Mold Technology. We are home to so much more. We are home to Hiram Walker & Sons Limited, home of the Canadian Club, JP Weisers, Polar Ice, and McGuinness. We are home to 2 of Ford Motor Company of Canada's engine plants. We are home to Bonduelle, who packages many of the frozen vegetables that you buy at the grocery store. And we are home to Jameson Wellness, one of Canada's leaders in natural health product manufacturing. Nous avons ici à Windsor-Tecumseh
In Windsor-Tecumseh, we have a Franco-Ontarian heritage. In my writing, you can find so many proofs of that. Trouillard, Saint-Pierre, La Butte, Lauson, Trouillard. I already said that. This is a really important story. The Franco-Ontarian community is putting efforts to come to my writing. I was lucky enough to learn French thanks to our Francophone school networks. There are 4 schools in my writing, in my neighborhood rather. English speakers like myself can become Francophiles and share the Francophone culture. Francophonie is subject to debate in the House. Bill 3 constrains the Essex Council to provide school curriculum in French. I would like to thank and acknowledge the MPP who introduced that bill. I was able to learn French thanks to your efforts. Then I went to the University of Ottawa. It was really important for me to keep my bilingualism. I hold 2 bachelors in French that I did in Ontario. There are only a few number of establishments that offer this type of projects. This is because of the provincial policies that I am able to speak in French.
Is the immersion in our community of generosity and a tolerance and respect for one another. And the community ever consider trying a new approach on June 2nd? Speaker, there's not much precedent for my hometown electing a PC candidate. The people of the town of Tecumseh have not been represented by either a Conservative MPP or a Tecumseh resident since our community's beloved first mayor and hero from World War I, Colonel Paul Poisson, who served in this House from 1926 to 1934. It is an incredible privilege to be able to follow in Colonel Poisson's footsteps. But what is certainly with precedent is a history and a record of good representation no matter the political stripe. My hometown has been represented by some of the most respected members of this House. Dave Cook, who I thank very much for watching from his home today, my speech I truly appreciate. Wayne Lessard, Dwight Duncan, and my predecessor in this riding, Percy Hatfield, who remains a giant in our community. Percy was our community's go-to for politics. He was the host of Percy's panel on the CBC Windsor Evening News and is a consummate professional in every sense of the word. As a municipal staff member, I watched as Percy provided an exemplary demonstration of class and nobility as a city councillor. He did not tolerate disrespect to the process or of the people involved. He demonstrated to me and to the civil service that our contributions were appreciated. Percy clearly had a sincere appreciation for the political process, no matter who was involved. A few years ago, he was one of the attendees for a PC leaders debate hosted in my neighbourhood, the Lakeshore Imagine Cinemas. And I was quite happy to see that Percy had secured one of the best seats in the House for that one. Shortly after I was elected to Town Council in 2014, I attended the Professional Engineers Ontario Queen's Park Day reception right here at the Ontario Legislature. Percy showed me this beautiful building and the hidden gems in his office, and he also left me with a parting reflection that at some point in the distant future, he will need to have a worthy successor. I will do my utmost to give justice to the role given to me and to offer the same level of respect and of dignity that Percy gave to this role for the many years that he served. And Speaker, as I know Percy is also likely watching as well, I want to say a sincere thank you to Percy Hatfield for his tremendous service to our community, for his friendship over many years, and for the tremendous efforts of him and his staff to transition our constituency office. I would like to thank Premier Ford and everyone at the Progressive Conservative Party of Ontario for believing in me and for supporting my candidacy despite our riding's electoral history. The truism in politics is typically that you fish where the fish are. But the English philosopher Thomas Paine might have coined it best in this case: the harder the conflict, the more glorious the triumph. Speaker, I would like to close in recognizing my father, James Dowie. He worked 7 days a week, usually beginning at 5 a.m., and had a difficult job as an insurance adjuster. He often gave people news that they would be unhappy with and witnessed the aftermath of countless tragedies. He knew the importance of balance, though. On weekends, he was both the president and the garbage collector at Rochester Place Resort. One of the last things he was able to tell me before he passed away in 2017 was this: that he would regret very much not having had the opportunity to see me become mayor someday. I told him not to worry, that it was not destined to happen. If only he could see me now being given the tremendous privilege of serving the people of Windsor-Tecumseh and the people of Ontario. I look forward to working with all members of this House to move Ontario forward and appreciate the opportunity to listen and learn from every one of you over the next 4 years. Thank you.
Further debate.